This is Charlene O'Banion, a prison officer being accused of sleeping with an inmate.
You felt me, I was like soaking through my clothes.
After hearing rumors from other officers that had seen her and Jason Parker together, an investigation was opened up. Charlene thinks she flew under the radar and got away, but what she doesn't know is that the detectives have all the evidence they need, and they're about to expose and embarrass her in the most brutal way possible.
You got a lot of that head game. Oh my God.
Right from the start, Charlene plays innocent and pretends she doesn't know anything about the allegations.
We're notified of a possible improper relationship between you and Jacob Parker. So we're here for that. I just kind of want to talk to you about it and get your side of that story.
I don't know anything about it.
Okay. Have you talked to him on any jail phone calls or anything like that?
No.
None at all?
Charlene is sure that this will work, but the detectives have much more evidence than they're letting on.
And where would you think that this allegation would come from if there's nothing to it?
All right, so you see, she as a female, I think she should have gotten that insight or intuition that they know that they probably spoke on the phone. So I think that her denying that they spoke on the phone call wasn't a good move. I mean, overall, she's done fuck, but at least try to own up to some of the stuff, you know what I'm saying? Instead of like denying everything. But that's my opinion. I think that she should have at least, be forward about the phone calls, but not give away what was said. Because at that time she would be probably thinking that, oh, they don't have enough evidence or they don't have access to, the audio files that would have been recorded over those phone calls. I mean, if I was in her position at that time, that's what I would probably be thinking.
Well, I had a feeling this was coming. So there was an inmate named Coker, Justin Coker.
Okay.
He got out of here for, I don't know what period of time, and he tried to contact me on Facebook. He sent me a message and I blocked him on Facebook. And I guess one time Parker was going back to Bequat to use the bathroom, and he was talking like at the window with me. Mm-hmm. And I guess Coker didn't like that, which I had no contact with him or anything. And Parker had told me that he had gone up to him and was like, don't talk to her, or something crazy like that.
So I'm just not trying to be rude here. Why would you expect this conversation to come up from that? Right. Now, if that happened a few months ago.
Charlene claims that the only time she's had contact with Jason was a single time outside the jail bathroom, and it was a jealous inmate that started the rumor. But the detective is about to share some evidence that instantly proves that Charlene is hiding something.
I don't know exactly how it started, who it started from, but I was told that it was brought to somebody's attention, and then we looked at jail calls, and there's jail calls between you and Parker. And all that stuff's recorded. So I don't think you're being completely truthful. Well, I kind of know that you're not. And I'm not trying to be rude when I say that.
Yeah, no.
I'm just kind of trying to lay it out on the table for you.
Right.
So can you kind of tell me what's going on here?
I like the fact that this detective is being so respectful and calm rather than kind of shoving it in her face that he knows and they have all the details, And I love that they're giving her an opportunity to confess rather than just shoving it in her face that they already know everything that's going on. I like that.
I guess a few years ago, we talked, and then I ended up here, and then he ended up here. I didn't know he was here. I didn't, it wasn't anything like that.
Apparently, Charlene and Jason knew each other before prison and messed around before they both ended up here. This led to them joking around with each other here, but nothing else. Or at least, that's what she claims. In reality, the cops have recorded phone calls from inside the prison that tell a completely different story.
So what about some of these phone conversations?
No.
Hold on. So if I'm understanding this correctly, the inmate that they have investigated alongside with her, they had a thing before he got to prison, and then they ended up being in the same prison. Somehow they ended up being. I don't think that's a coincidence. This may sound crazy, but I think that she was tracking the guy to probably know what prison he's in, so that she could like try to get a job there where she could be closer to him and potentially carry on that relationship. At least that's what I'm thinking. I'm not just looking at it as any form of coincidence that you and your ex end up in the same prison. You as an inmate and she as a guard? No, man.
Not here or the phone. I thought
No,
you were
I just
talking
mean
about phone.
conversations y'all are having on the phone
No, no.
since he's been in here.
Like sexual?
Well, I'm not saying having phone sex, talking about sexual acts. From what I'm listening to on the calls, I take it as that you've given him oral sex at some point, is what
No.
I gather from
no,
these
no,
calls.
No, that was like in the world. But we never dated. We just
Okay. What kind of conversations have you had with him since you started working here and he's been in the jail?
just talking about what would happen after he got out.
And then the jail call recordings, have you been talking to him like while you're at home? Like he calls you from the jail while you're at home, or? Okay.
Just 15 minutes into this interrogation, Charlene's original story is seeming less and less like the truth. She's been caught in multiple lies, admitted to having sexual relations with Jason in the past, and calling him regularly from her own home. This is highly irregular behavior for a prison officer, and it doesn't take a genius to realize something deeper may be going on. But the detective has some more questions pertaining to some more physical evidence.
Because she did admit to having a relationship with the guy prior, to being in jail there. And then she just admitted that they have been in contact even when she's off duty. So, of course, it doesn't take a smart person to figure out that there is something deeper in the works right there, you know what I'm saying? Obviously there's something, because as a prison officer, bro, you have no business communicating with inmates outside of hi, hello, good morning, good evening, here's your meal, yada. Just like standard communication. So the fact that my guy is calling you while you're home, that's not just nothing or something to just sweep under the rug.
Listen to this, but apparently there may be some talk in the calls about like photographs. Have you given him any photographs?
Mm-mm. I gave him a photograph of his mom, which he had asked for, and of his dog, Jax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you given him any photographs of you?
Mm-mm. No, because...
So one of the things we're going to be doing is like looking at cameras and stuff too. Has there been any times where y'all were alone?
Mm-mm.
Or you go out of camera view or anything like that? Anything that's going to look suspicious?
I'm so curious to see what they have.
It's important to remember that Charlene has worked at this prison for a while now, and as such will know all the ins and outs of everything such as security camera blind spots and patrol officer schedules. You'd think that with all this knowledge, it'd be easy to hide a relationship with an inmate. But it seems that she forgot about a few vital pieces of information. Not least the facts that all phone calls placed from the prison are recorded. But thanks to the detectives, she's about to be reminded of this fact in a devastating way.
Hey, baby.
Got that.
Baby, guess what?
What, babe?
I just won the blackjack game.
Yay.
I just won $30.
I got a lot of stuff to clean and get rid of before you come home. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking with you. I was trying to make you think I have all these secret things.
Yeah, I bet you do.
What?
What?
What? What do you mean?
I don't know. You probably got this weird sex swing hanging from the ceiling. Kenneth probably thinks it's a swing set.
Oh, if I had that sex swing, you better believe I'd leave that sucker up for you.
Would you really?
Hell yeah.
You let me put you in it
Yeah.
with a gag ball and everything?
Bro. Yo.
Yeah, babe.
Listening to your own voice can be bad enough for some people, but listening to your own sexual phone calls in silence with two detectives in the room as you realize you've just been caught red-handed has got to be worse than any prison sentence there is.
I bet she
However,
wanted
with
to
the
just
language they've
disappear.
used so far, there's no evidence that the pair have actually
Done
engaged in
anything,
any sexual
right.
acts. But that changes quickly as Jason begins to directly incriminate Charlene on the call.
I just want you to look at me sometimes and be like, damn, my woman's fine.
Fine as wine.
Hmm?
And you got a live ass fucking head game. Oh my god.
It wasn't my best moments. I was just trying to get it done.
Meh, meh. Are you in bed?
Don't even get me thinking about that because it makes me so horny. Like just going back and thinking about
Yeah.
that.
It gets you horny?
Oh yeah. You felt me. I was like soaking through my clothes. Get very horny very easy. I always want to have
Not
sex.
good.
Like that's not even.
Not good.
I mean, it's not like I just like look at someone. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so fucking horny. No, like of course, like I only get horny for you.
You kind of see how that sounds from like my point of view.
Bro, that sounds to me like there's a whole relationship going on there, bro. So even though I don't get this, like, where does he that clip that phone call was about what 2 minutes already, and it's not yet finished. I'm not sure if it's finished, but where does he get all this time to like call her? I mean, don't they only get a phone call, for example, like if someone visits them, they talk to that phone thing through the glass? At least that's what I've seen in movies. I don't know how American prisons work or jails work, but damn. Now, so many things have sparked so many red flags, bro. Number one, somebody reported y'all and you lied to the detective's face. Number two, you did admit to knowing the guy prior to working at the jail and then him coming there. Then she did admit to having contact with the guy even when she's off duty. And now there is proof, solid proof, that they have been having conversations about sexual acts and of a sexual nature. So she's fucked. I mean, they still have more, I bet, but she's already fucked. Although, with the part where they mention about oral sex, it's not very clear as it relates to the timeline of when that was done. They spoke about it and whatnot, but there is not a solid ground for establishing a timeline for when that happened. But I wouldn't put it past her if it happened while they were in there. So let's see.
Like a more recent thing than
3 years ago, right?
No.
The audacity she has to say no after hearing that phone call is truly remarkable. But to her credit, she's not going down easily. The detectives try asking her if she thinks Jason would cover for her, and she still doesn't break, sticking to her story that everything that happened outside of prison. Technically, this story could still be true with this phone call, but it definitely is
Right.
odd for the couple to be recounting events from over
3 years
3 years
ago.
ago in such detail, especially when earlier she struggled to remember any details about their relationship.
You talk about how profound this was, like just giving him this blowjob was, but you,
Well, in a sense, I'm not saying this to defend her, but I'm saying this for like personally, from like personal experience. It is possible for someone to be hung up on something that happened years ago, and it's highly possible for them to actually remember an interaction vividly. Myself had a similar experience. Sort of the same like relationship aspect, whatnot. So I can relate if this is actually true, but if it's not, then whatever. But what I'm saying is that it's not impossible, and I wouldn't say that it's strange because it is possible for you to meet that person, and then even over the course of time, you haven't gotten over the person, and it could be a case where the experience you had with that person was just so different it stood out of all the memories you probably had with previous partners, relationship, whatnot. So all I'm just saying is that you can have unique experiences that can, well, it depends on who you are, but really and truly unique experiences that you can recall no matter how long it has passed.
You like don't remember anything about it. It's like telling me something, but you're having trouble coming up
With details
details
about
about
it.
it. You know what I mean? Like if it's that
I
profound.
mean, I gave him a blowjob. How do you describe the blowjob? I mean, is that
Well,
what
I'm
you
not
want
want
me
to
to
know
do?
like about the blowjob. I'm just
Yeah.
so if this is a
He just said
factual thing that happened 3 years ago, I feel like you would kind of remember some stuff about it. Like I
Yeah,
feel
I
Right.
mean, like we said in the car, you know,
like when I asked you who was there, him of course, like when y'all met or whatever, and then when I asked like who else, you said it was like a bunch of friends,
yeah.
but like you can remember one
I mean, I
chick's
was with
name
my
after
friend
you
Chris.
think about it for 30 seconds. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I was-
not making sense to me.
You seem to have blanks in your
Blanks.
memory when we get to certain details, but you remember being groped in the blowjob from 3 years ago. I find that hard to believe. Okay? This is your one chance to be honest with us.
Yes.
Once we get up and walk out and we're done, we're done. Have y'all had any inappropriate contact, whether it's groping, blowjobs, vaginal,
No.
anal sex, anything, hand jobs? Yes, I am being vulgar to get a point across.
Yeah, no, it's not. None of that.
Just as the detectives say, things really aren't adding up. Yet
It
she's
is
still
true, it's
sticking to
not.
her story. Or at least she was, before a switch flipped and she said this.
And what is it?
I might have given him a blowjob in the back part of you.
In the back part of the quad? Okay. How long ago was that?
I don't know, a few months ago.
The secret's out, and Charlene has confessed. But this matter is more complex than it may
Bruh.
seem. In cases of officer-inmate relations, the main question that arises is the issue of consent. Given that Jason and Charlene knew each other prior to being in prison, it's not wrong to assume that consent went both ways in this
Right.
interaction. However, in these cases, that's actually completely irrelevant. According to a 2005 report, federal law criminalizes all sexual relations and contact between prison staff and inmates, and that all sexual relations between staff and inmates are considered abuse, even if the act would have been considered consensual if it occurred outside of a prison. This is
Right. I do understand why it is forbidden, and I definitely understand why they say it can jeopardize the safety of the prison because think about it. If you develop a relationship with an inmate, say you're working at this jail or prison where it's females or males, and you're a male or a female, and you develop a relationship with an inmate over time, technically you guys spend every day together because you're in the same place, just not every minute, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, over time the relationship grows, feelings grows, and stuff like that. You're going to start to get personal on a deeper level as it relates to the level of treatment to that inmate, and you may even go to the extreme of trying to break that person out of jail or prison. So there are a lot of effects that could come from something like this, and I definitely do understand. I mean, even though they had a relationship prior, it still doesn't justify it because at the end of the day, security is at risk. No doubt she would probably try to sneak him in something, just for his comfort, and then bams. You know, what she probably snuck in may have seemed harmless to her, but then it probably just caused a big old problem, and then everybody's wondering like how did he get access to that, so it's just stuff like that. That's at least that's what I'm really thinking. I'm coming up with this off the top of my head. This is what I'm thinking when I read that and just be analyzing the situation. But you guys are fine to let me know what you think.
Because of the huge amount of inmate abuse that was observed in prisons. In 1996, it was estimated that between 12 and 14% of all prison inmates had been sexually assaulted, and the officers were rarely punished. So to prevent this, a zero-tolerance policy was introduced to try and prevent abuse towards inmates. A policy, it seems, that Charlene completely ignored.
I'm gonna ask, but I feel like I know the answer. I'm losing my job.
So that's not really up to me. Internal Affairs is aware. Investigation is separate from ours because it's two totally different things. So
Yeah. What kind of charges would like?
so it's illegal to have sexual contact with an inmate as an employee. So I said the ball kind of be in their court, but I'll let you know as soon as they.
Hold on a second. He said it's illegal to have sexual contact with an inmate as a employee. So is he saying, without saying, that it's okay for inmates to have sexual contact if it's somebody that's not employed at the prison? That is what I'm getting from that, because when it comes down to law and order, they choose their words extremely carefully, because one wording or one wrong placement of a word could cost you. So that's what I'm understand. That's the understanding I'm getting. You guys let me know in the comments if I'm right.
Or something.
I mean, would I go to jail?
That's up to the DA's office.
As it turns out, Charlene would lose her job, and the only time she'd ever be allowed back in jail would be for the 100 days that she'd be made to serve after being found guilty of sexual activity with a person in custody.
Wow. So that was a very interesting case. I've never came across something like this before. I didn't even know that things like that would be happening, just because of the fact that, you know, you have some women who like frown upon guys that are in prison regardless of whatever their situation may be. So for something like this to happen, I mean, now it kind of sheds some light to, you know, on a situation like this. So I'm thinking that this is something that probably occurs more times than I can probably think of. But in some cases, some people may just be lucky than others to not get exposed, you know. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Definitely drop a like on the video if you did. Drop a dislike if you didn't. And I'll see you in the next one.